What do you think, Millie Mae? What do you think? What do you think, Millie Mae? Tell me. Is your name Caroline? I don't think so. Millie Mae, what is your name?
Welcome to Millie's Gun Safe. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Millie Mae.
Hey, Millie Mae. Welcome to summer 2025.
Our first full day of summer.
Yep. We're almost well rested, I feel like.
Yeah, I got like 10 hours of sleep last night, which is incredible since I've been getting very little. So
we've been looking forward to sharing this with you. This one is probably one of the more valuable pieces of paper that we can give you. This is something that we have lived out a couple of times and even recently. And man, we're just ready to share this with you. The fact is, as a Christian, you will have battles that come your way. You will have spiritual warfare. Probably the only way to avoid this is, I always say it's the weak, the woke, or the withdrawn.
Yeah.
Weak Christians, withdrawn Christians, they're really no threat to the enemy. And
yeah, they're not. They're not like, he's not going to waste his time on somebody that's already, if they're weak, woke, or withdrawn, they're already really serving him anyway. Yeah. So it's a waste of his time. It's a waste of his demon's time to come shut you down because you're already shut down.
Yeah. But you will have spiritual warfare. So,
absolutely.
We're raising 100%. You to be a true Christian, and with the Lord's help, this will happen. But there's a downside to it, you know. As a true follower of Christ, the Lord's wanting to do something mighty through you. He's wanting you to have a very high impact life with others, you know, leading them to Christ and even nurturing other believers. Mm-hmm. And so the enemy, he's just after you. I mean, it's bound to happen. When you're wanting to find out what the breadth, the length, and the height and the depth of God is, Satan's going to do everything he can to interrupt that.
Because you can only relate, Millie Mae, to other believers or non-believers through your testimony. And your testimony is effective when it's true and you've been through hard things. People want to be able to relate to you. They don't want somebody that's amazing and perfect. They can't relate to that. And so Satan's going to try to shut down your walk, but through that walk, you're going to be with the Lord, and then that testimony is what's going to draw the other people in. So it's regardless, you're going to go through it, and it is, you want to, because it's going to give you street credit.
Yeah, and here's another sad fact about being a true Christ follower. Sadly, you're going to be hated.
Yeah.
And this is something that you're just going to have to learn how to accept. It's one of the more challenging things to accept. But John 15:18 says, if the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. John 15:19, but I chose you out of the world because of this. The world hates you. And you don't have to do anything to be hated. I mean, Jesus is in you. His spirit is in you. You have his fragrance. And from that, you will be hated. And because of that, you will have warfare. And they crucified Jesus without cause, he says. Yeah. And that's the same way. Hate is hate. And it's been the same since he was crucified. And without cause, you will be hated. You'll be slandered, defamed, cursed at, lied about, you know. People will speak these half-truths against you, and half-truths are still lies. And so
it's super important, you know, with your dad and I learning about breaking away from being a people pleaser. The people pleaser is sort of the world, and we want to be, we're not of the world. Like, this is not our home, and we belong to the Lord. And so we're hoping that we raise you to be okay with going in a different walk, going down the narrow path, not the wide path, and being comfortable and not everybody being on your side or liking you. I think that's from an early age, that's such a great concept to understand, so that the hating you is hands down going to happen. But how we deal with it, how we respond to it, really depends on how we've been taught, don't you think? Yeah. And so understanding that just the truth of just keep following the Lord. They're not gonna like you. That we already know that ahead of time. This is how we deal with that. That's um, how you get less tripped up.
Yeah,
You know.
I like 2 Timothy 3:12. It says, "Indeed, all who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus will be persecuted," and it just comes with the territory. And I don't want you to be discouraged in these times, and that's why what we have to give you, even though there will be discouragement. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's just a
Mm-hmm.
natural response. Um, you'll be saddened sometimes about this. You'll be angry sometimes
Yeah.
about this. You'll want to like smack people across the face because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's the discouraging side, but the encouragement is what we're about to walk and talk you through, and the nearness of God through all of the adversities and the trials you go through.
Mm-hmm.
It is powerful. It is amazing. I mean, you'll find yourself, and this has come from me. I'm more of a kind of a negative person than your mama, but like I found myself being so encouraged, so positive and hopeful in the outcomes, even though some of them we haven't even seen the end
Mm-hmm.
result yet. But
Mm-hmm. But
anyway,
but it comes from like being like learning to be okay with what you're currently in and being able to identify it and then just remembering. That's what we love, what we're getting into, just remembering like who you are in Christ and who you belong to, that it's greater than all those things, that no matter what is happening, no matter what people are saying, he's greater than that. And like knowing it in your heart when he is the only one you have, that he is still walking with you and defending you.
yeah. Another thing you'll see um, is this demonic oppression. You won't
Oof.
just see it; you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You'll feel the weight of it all. Um, you'll actually see demons fighting each other um, as you go through your daily walk. That's mind blowing. So probably another video at some other time,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
you'll experience all these things. And again, they're discouraging, they're disheartening, they're frustrating, they're
Mm-hmm.
saddening. Um, you'll be full of anger, full of torment at times. You'll want to fight back, yell.
Defend
Yeah,
yourself, shut it down,
yeah.
get rid of them.
That is also natural, but it's
Mm-hmm.
probably not the best move when you're dealing with this stuff.
Mm-hmm. What is demonic oppression? I know we should do another video, but you just kind of threw that out without like much. Like let's give some examples that way.
Some people call it like tension, or they feel this tension between you and another person. That's that is very small and mild.
Yeah.
Demonic oppression. It is the heaviest of just this spiritual pushback from another person. This unsettled. Your spirit, your soul will
Yes.
be unsettled. Um,
In the room, and there's
you will
the
want to get
unseen.
away so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other times it might have a physical impact on you,
Mm-hmm.
where if you're around a certain person, you might, every time you're around them, you might end up with a physical symptom.
Like when you used to get diarrhea.
Yeah, I'd be around this one person, and it was like, my
Yeah.
gosh, that every time I was around them, my stomach was upset almost immediately, like
Mm-hmm.
stepping in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's that it's the Holy Spirit in you, like get away, get
yeah,
away, get away. Something's not right. Something's never not. There's that. It is a pushback,
yeah,
and it's alarms going off.
yeah. So these are just the things to be aware of, and
Mm-hmm.
and it makes sense when you finally have understanding. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I have a upset stomach. No, there is something serious going on here
Mm-hmm.
when it is a repeat. That's the Lord trying to get your attention.
Yeah,
But
it's
you'll
real.
you'll want to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
You'll want to defend yourself. You want to do all these things that feel like taking justice into your hands. But
Mm-hmm.
really, the more you do that, the more you get trapped by those that the enemy is using. And it's kind of like quicksand. The more you squirm, the more you sink. And this is why this is beautiful, that you can turn it over to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And we're calling this the battle psalm. This is Psalm 37. And the Lord, when we were going through our dark time as a family, the Lord just really opened this up to
Yeah.
us. and it is something like it brings God into the battle so that God can bring you through the battle. And that is an important statement to
Say that
remember.
again.
It will bring God into the battle so that God can bring you through the battle. And so this is our battle psalm. And this is Psalm 37 that we're going to be going through and sharing with you and walking and talking through this.
And we bring him, it brings him into the battle because you can't do it alone. And you said a statement just a minute ago that you're going to want to fight back. And that just depends on your personality. Some people, like your dad and I, we're pretty bold personalities, and we want to defend and set things right. You know, we want things to be right the way they, you know, there's good and bad and this kind of thing. And some people, they retreat and they do nothing at all. And those are all equally wrong. What Psalms 37 does, like your dad just said, is it brings the Lord into it because he's God over it. And then it takes it off of you, whether you are one to act or you're one that you never act. So
yeah, in Master Life, we learned that the battle's first won on your knees. And if you're wondering how to pray, what to pray, this one is it right here. So I'm going to have your mama read Psalm 37 first, just so we can kind of lay this out, and then we'll break it down.
You want me to go ahead and do the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay. Here we go. Psalm 37. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither. Like the green plants, they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pastures. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your ways to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this, Millie Mae. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger, turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. The wicked draw the sword and bend the bow to bring down the poor and the needy, to slay those whose ways are upright. But their sword will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. Better the little that the righteous have than the wealth of many of the wicked. For the power of the wicked will be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. The blameless spend their days under the Lord's care, and their inheritance will endure forever. In times of disaster, it will not wither. In days of famine, they will enjoy plenty. But the wicked will perish. Though the Lord's enemies are like the flowers of the field, they will be consumed and they will go up in smoke. The wicked borrow, but do not repay. But the righteous give generously. Those the Lord blesses will inherit the land, but those he curses will be destroyed. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, Millie Mae, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. I was young and now I'm old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. They are always generous and lend freely. Their children will be a blessing. Turn from evil and do good. Then you will dwell in the land forever. For the Lord loves the just and will not forsake his faithful ones. Wrongdoers will be completely destroyed. The offspring of the wicked will perish. The righteous will inherit the land and dwell in it forever. The mouths of the righteous utter wisdom, and their tongues speak what is just. The law of their God is in their hearts. Their feet do not slip. The wicked lie in wait, and the righteous intend on putting them to death. But the Lord will not leave them in power of the wicked, or let them be consumed when brought to trial. I love that part. Hope in the Lord, Millie Mae, and keep his way. He will exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are destroyed, you will see it. I have seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a luxuriant native tree, but he soon passed away, and he was no more. Though I looked for him, I could not find him. Consider the blameless and observe the upright. A future awaits those who speak peace, but all sinners will be destroyed. There will be no future for the wicked. The salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord. He is their stronghold in times of trouble. The Lord helps them and he delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. Amen.
All right.
That's so good.
Here's what I want you to do. Because Mama's going to put up a copy of this, or you go to the filing cabinet. I will have copies for you to mark up and write on. Okay, and I want you to use this paper. It's kind of like a prayer covenant. I mean, this dude is marked up. I mean, answer prayers on the back, insight, information that it gives me along the way. I mean, it is so valuable. We have prayed over this piece of paper for what? The first record I have is March 19th.
Tell her what this paper is.
So this one, this paper is, what the Lord did was when he showed me the Psalm 37, he broke this down into 3 different parts for me. And there are 3 columns here that you have, and the first one is what I need to focus on in this. And this is what God has commanded me. Matter of fact, there are 20 commands here that he gives for us to just focus on, because we want to focus on other things. Remember, we want to take justice into our own hands, vengeance into our own hands. We want to do these things, and God said, hey, this is what I want you to do right here. So the left column, that is how we need to behave, react, or respond in the battle. And
that's very important. Like your dad just said, we want to take it into our own hands. But a lot of us are good students. And so we want a leader. We want somebody to help us. And so that's why scripture is so important, Millie Mae, is that he's not saying good luck, have fun, see what you can do. He's saying, this in Psalm 37, this is how you need to be. And a lot of us, we want to be told what to do so that we know what to follow, because when you're in the middle of the battle, you feel alone, you feel isolated. And so his word comes alive, and it does not leave you wanting. It tells you exactly what to do, which is very comforting.
So he has information for us. This is how you need to behave. He also, in the middle column here, he's going to explain what he will do for you. And or for you and your husband if you're going through the battle together. And then the third column, it is what he will do to the enemy, the one that's after you, or creating the spiritual warfare, or creating the battles. There are just people that stir up wars all the time. And so those are the ones that you pray against. And I guess, no, I know that there are certain people that don't like imprecatory prayers, but those are the weak, the woke, or withdrawn people. We're not raising you to be one of those people. If imprecatory prayers was good enough for David, it's good enough for you and me. So this is how we're going to work with this, because this is what God has shown us. And so,
if the battle is first won in prayer, then be serious about prayer. It's a serious thing.
All right, so you've paused the video, you got in your worksheet, and now we're going to sit and we're just going to focus on the first, the column on the left, and the 20 things that the Lord is telling us to do. My version is the New American Standard Version, 1995. Mama's is NIV. You can go look. I recommend looking up other translations, looking up New Living Translation, ESV.
I like the Contemporary English Version. Is one of my favorites.
Just get as much insight as you can on what these things say. But this paper comes from the New American Standard Version, and so it's very similar but different, and we're going to talk about those as well. All right, so we're going to start here with verse 1. It says, "Do not fret because of evildoers, and do not be envious towards wrongdoers." They're going to look like they are winning winning the battle. The war is being won. Is what it looks like. They're going around vaunting themselves, just walking around in their pride. It looks like they have got this under control and that they got you trapped, got you cornered.
And it feels like everyone around them is believing everything being said. It really does feel like no matter what they do, like they're getting all the blessings, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Like they're winning totally.
But the Lord says, do not fret.
Yeah.
And that's in my version, her version.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3, trust in the Lord and do good. That is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to find yourself in a position where you absolutely know that God's going to take care of you and take care of this situation. He says to dwell in the land, and my version says, dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. And I have loved that so much. That word cultivate, it is an agriculture kind of term, a farming term. And let me tell you something. Sometimes your faith is going to get hardened. It is manual labor. It is spiritual labor to keep your faithfulness growing, and it is hard. And even when you're in the battle, man, it's like people will come and they will trot on your land, your soil, your dirt, and they will compress and pack that stuff down. And you'll have to go and what is called harrowing, and you'll have to break up that ground to make it suitable to receive these seeds of faith. And then you got to water, nurture, and tend to that faithfulness so it can grow, and then you can harvest it, and then you can sit at a table one day with all of the faithfulness involved and feast. That is the cycle, you know. And so cultivating faithfulness, it is an amazing thing to me. And keep in mind, it is hard work to farm that faithfulness. Mom says,
trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land, enjoy safe pastures. And that whole section, the delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. This whole area, back when I was single, was super important to me. So I have that part memorized, and it just meant for me, it was like, keep your eyes on the Lord, keep getting to know him, walking with him, asking him to make you more like him. And then, while I was in the waiting room for your daddy, and I was enjoying, like, do these things, enjoy the safe pastures. I'm going to provide for you and all these things. He promises to me as a single girl that if I did those things, he was going to provide, and he did provide. And so it's the same thing for me. The safe pastures, the land, it's beautiful and it's green, and it's the hard work is staying there. Because our brains and our minds want to go, even though it's beautiful and it's safe, we still want to go on our own path and do our own thing. And so, like your dad was saying, it's a fight to be there. So I love trust the Lord and do good. Dwell, be there, like root there. Do not be moved by the winds and the rains there.
Next one is delight yourself in the Lord. I mean, that has been a head scratcher. It's like, how do you delight yourself in the Lord? I'm not outwardly joyful. I pray every day for me to be this man of jubilation, of triumphant jubilation. But delighting yourself in the Lord, I mean, you cannot do this every day and not find yourself amazed by him. And that is what has created delight for me. This next one is also a standout. Commit your way to the Lord. You have a purpose to fulfill. Don't like curl up in a ball in the battle and give up on the purpose. You got to stick with the commitment, and you got to keep your mind in the battle and your feet on the mission field.
Yes.
No matter what is going on in your life, that is your role, your purpose. So you commit your way to the Lord. You trust in him. Oh, there it is again. Trust in him also, and he will do it. And that statement right there at the tail end of that, and he will do it, we're going to hang on to that one, because I have mine circled. He will do it. He will do what? He will do these other two columns. All you got to do is focus on this one, and he will do the rest. And so Verse 7, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Again, you're going to want to take things into your own hands.
You're going to want to jump to the front of the line because you think you know, you think you understand, but you don't know. You can't see everything. And I'm speaking from those that naturally want to do that. Mm-hmm. You cannot see the entire picture. And when I have jumped in front of the line, it gets very messy. It gets very empty. It makes things worse. And then it proves that I did not really trust the Lord enough to wait. And then in the waiting, if I had waited, it would have been way, way better. You know what I mean? Like, just stay in line. If you're number 12, you hang on to number 12, even if number 1 paper is on the ground. You do not move from where you are.
All right, here the next part. Do not fret. The second time he's brought that up. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his ways. Verse 8, cease from anger and forsake wrath. That's a tough one. You're going to need his help. I mean, every day it is a prayer that he replaces my natural emotions with the fruit of the Spirit. And sometimes, got to go through that multiple times a day. It affects you. This battle will affect you. And you just have to keep coming back to this stuff here. It says, depart from evil.
And do good.
Yeah. And it's like, evil is the one that's coming against you. Get the heck away from them. Get as far as you can from them. Don't engage with them.
And I think that's important because whether this might be a friend group for you, this might be work, whatever. Like, start really, if you're in this battle, evaluate who is speaking to you and what they're speaking over you. If they're trying to give unsolicited advice, just be very careful. Because really you only need the Lord. That is it. You need the Lord. You got Psalms 37, but people are going to come alongside of you that really are not for you, that are maybe more for that person. And if we don't have that discernment to see between good and evil, we will fall for it. And so you want to be aware of who you're letting speak into your life.
Mm-hmm. And I have to back up a little bit because I missed the third fret. On verse 8, it says, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret. It only leads to evil doing. And so we've been talking about this word fret.
Yeah.
And I introduced my thoughts to your mom, and she's still marinating on those. But here's the deal. If you look up the definition of fret, all right, it is worrying or an outward display of worry. That is one definition. That's the one we're most familiar with, I think. If you go down through those definitions, you'll see another one that talks about rubbing, gnawing at, and then corrosion or corrode. This is the one that I think is very important to pay attention to, because 3 times he says do not fret, and it's in almost every translation. And so this is where we had the discussion. Okay, we're just nonstop consumed. Like in the battle, you're just consumed. It's like you're consumed all day, you're consumed all night. Most of your conversations are in the battle. Okay, and so after a couple months, I was like talking to your mom, and I was like, let me tell you about this definition. So I'm just bouncing this off. We're still bouncing. All right, so.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
okay.
So this consumption, this talking about over and over and over and over and over and over, and just not taking a break from it is kind of like if you were to sit here and rub or scratch your skin, eventually you're going to wear through the layers of your epidermis. You're going to create a nasty wound, and then it's going to take time to heal. I mean, if you just keep sitting there, or if you gnaw at it and start biting yourself, eventually you're going to break through. You're going to create a wound. And you're going to have to go through this additional healing process on top of being in the battle already. All right. This corroding, this eating away at you is kind of what it is. And I just want you to think on that and pray on that as we are. Because she kind of took it as like, we're not going to talk about this anymore. Keep it to yourself kind of thing. That's not what it's about. You have to make time.
You do. You do. There is, and this is one of the things hard about the battle is because it takes, like I've been going, I don't know how many months, 2 months or whatever, waking up very early in the morning to get hours in with the Lord before we ever started our day. And that's what the Lord was asking of me to do. And so you're in the Word, you're listening to Him, you're very aware of Him, and He is showing you people's behaviors. He is revealing to you deep and hidden things like why they did this, things you could not possibly know. And so it's kind of all around you, but at the same time in your awareness, there is also balance. And so we have to learn how to balance what he's showing us and then also regular life. And it's extremely tough. I think about fretting and worrying. I'm not naturally a worrier. So in my mind, I go to the person that's walking themselves into a mood. Like Master Life we talked about, you can walk yourself into an emotion. The person that's having the false arguments in their mind or worrying about something that never even happens. They spent all that time over it. And that to me is kind of the fret, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're in this bad mood because you spent all this time thinking about something and it was wasted, And so in my mind with the battle, there's balance, and that's what I struggle with is being able to balance it. A lot of it is just between me and the Lord in our conversations, So speaking to your daddy, I need to balance that. But being overtaken by it, that was kind of where I was like, well, I feel a little different, so whatever.
There's something we're still working on.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're down to verse 34. Wait for the Lord. There it is again. You're trusting in Him. Wait for the Lord. You're keeping His ways, and take refuge in Him. That's the 20 things that He says that we need to be focusing on, and that is a lot right there. Let's bounce back up to verse 5. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He will do it. And the question was, He will do what? Go to column 2. What will the Lord do for you, Millie, in the battle? And man, we're just going to go through those. Feel free to say something when it hits you. But
Okay.
Man, verse 4, B. He will give you the desires of your heart. I mean, when you're in a battle, and I've done this, it's like, what are the desires of my heart? Like, what am I really wanting out of this moment, out of this experience? Man, you can go to Him and just give Him everything. They can be as calm or crazy as you want them to be, but you just give Him, make your request known to Him. What is the desire of your heart?
And what I love about the Lord is like you first go in, like rip out their tongue. You go for like the big stuff, right? Like shut them down completely, remove them completely. And then as you're walking through like Psalm 37 with the Lord, those things sort of change. Like at first you just want them out, you don't want to deal with them anymore. And then He begins, there's a Shane and Shane song that I love called The Waiting Room. And it says, Lord, if you change my mind, I know you'll change my heart in time. So He begins to kind of work through your thoughts over the situation, and then He works through your heart over the situation. So where before you just wanted that evil person shut down and removed and their tongue ripped out and all this stuff, then all of a sudden you're like, Lord, they're offending you. Like, defend your name, like for your glory. Things change, and that becomes sort of those desires of your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a beautiful opportunity.
It is.
To deepen the relationship between you and Him.
Yeah.
And that is what this entire paper will do. This entire psalm will do for you. Next, verse 6, He will bring both your righteousness as the light and your judgment as the noonday sun. And man, God, I have written here, He controls the light switch. You're asking for Him to spotlight truth. Truth in the battle. Those liars, those deceivers that are mocking Him and you and slandering your name. I think of the prison searchlight. It is massive, and you just ask Him to turn that and to spotlight the wrong behavior, reproof.
And do you know that He does it?
He will.
Millie May, he does it. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, they get caught in their own trap, or they flip on their own spotlight and expose themselves.
Yep.
And it's crazy. And you're like, Lord.
Because senseless people do senseless things, and he's just going to sit there and turn the light for all the people to see. And then you're going to go back over here to verse 4 and delight yourself in the Lord. Amazing.
But this stuff is true. This is when he says this is alive, the word is alive. It happens. It's amazing.
Verse 9, but those who wait for the Lord, they will inherit the land. Man, what is the land? Where is this land that you're in a battle? I hope it's not in your home. You will have things to work through with your husband in the home, with your children in the home. The home might be the battlefield. The workplace, it can be your battlefield. Church, it might just be your battlefield.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he says, those who wait for the Lord, they will inherit the land. It is yours. You claim it and you pray for it. Verse 13, I had to put in there. That's really for the third column, but I liked it so much. It says that the Lord laughs at him. These are your enemies, for he sees their day is coming. These are part of my prayer. I'm not praying for fire to come down. I haven't seen that happen to anybody since Elijah. But it's like, man, let them hear your laugh, Lord, and go after them as you're pursuing them, chasing them. Let them hear the laugh, because you know the day is coming. Verse 17.
Because they think they're smarter than you. This person.
They think they're smarter than God.
They think they're smarter than God. And so that this verse is like, but it just all falls back on them, you know? Okay.
The Lord sustains the righteous. It is amazing. Your mom, like she says, she's been waking up at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning for like 2 months. This woman, when I met her, she was sleeping. She like 10 hours. I need 10 hours of sleep. I'm like, come on.
I need a lot of energy.
And so the Lord's been waking her up, and she's been going on 2.5, 3, 4, maybe 5 at best hours of sleep. I have watched the Lord sustain her. It is amazing.
But in the battle, that for me, you do whatever it takes. Like, if that's what he's asking of you, if that's going to shut the battle down, if that's going to let the Lord laugh at them, if that's going to let you, if that leads to the desires of your heart, like, you do what it takes.
The Lord knows the days of the blameless, and their inheritance will be forever. Do you know that 24 times in this psalm, God says that he will do something, or he will make sure something will not happen to you. That every time you see that word, will or will not, man, just stop and reflect on that and thank him for all of these things. Verse 19, they will not be ashamed in that time of evil, and in the days of famine, they will have abundance. I got to talk about this.
Okay.
Because, I mean, sometimes in our jobs, it is all about the students, all about the students, all about the students, all about the students. And sometimes it is a lot of giving out and not a lot of receiving going on, you know? And like sometimes an attaboy or a pat on the back or you're doing a heck of a job, that'd be great, you know? But sometimes there is a famine of appreciation or recognition that takes place. And so that can also be frustrating. And maybe that's the battle, you know, that you're going through. You know who you are, what you're about, and you know what God thinks of you and what he says you're about, and that is enough. But human nature, sometimes we need just a little more sugar, you know. But in the famine, you will have abundance. And I have experienced in the past month or so this overwhelming amount of abundance. I mean, I got a file in my office on letters, cards, and personal acknowledgments, face-to-face acknowledgments. I mean, they just kept coming and coming and coming. And every time I would tell your mom, this is the abundance in the famine. And so you'll find that with yours. And you'll come back to this verse and you will see what God is doing. He is encouraging you, reinforcing you, and building you up, even in the famine.
Mm-hmm. And it's so much sweeter in the famine. Like you don't take a single word of encouragement lightly. Like everything hits really deep and hard, and your gratitude is pretty intense. It's wonderful.
Verse 22, for the blessed by him will inherit the land. Again, where's your battle taking place? You claim it is yours. The steps of a man are established by the Lord, and the Lord delights in his ways. When he falls, he will not be hurled headlong, because the Lord is the one who holds up his hand. Verse 28, for the Lord loves justice and does not forsake his godly one. They are preserved, not just temporarily, but forever.
And I love this because the helmet of salvation, talks about like understanding when you put that on every morning, that no matter what happens today, like you cannot lose your salvation. Like the Lord, heaven is sealed forever. And so that verse goes right along with that you're preserved forever.
Verse 33, the Lord, it's the Lord in all caps. That's Lord Yahweh, the God who is with you at all times. The Lord will not leave him in the hands of the wicked, or let him be condemned when he is judged. And I have to flip over here to the third column, verse 17. Like it says, we just read that the Lord will not leave you in the wicked's hand. Why? Because over here, verse 17, he's going to break the arm of the wicked. And how many times? I don't know. Just shatter the thing. I mean, make it impossible for the wicked to hold on to you. I love it. Verse 34, he will exalt you to what? Inherit the land. Inherit the land. It's your land. Verse 38, but the salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their strength in times of trouble. And he is.
Okay.
The Lord helps and delivers him. He delivers him from the wicked and saves them. God is a rescuer. All right, third column. This is what the Lord will do to the enemy. There is a space at the top right of this paper. Whoever that person is or group of people, you write their name in that, and you're praying for this stuff. Verse 2, for they will wither quickly like grass and fade like the green herb.
So again, this is what the Lord will do.
What the Lord will do to your enemy.
We've gone over how we need to behave, how react and respond, and then what the Lord's going to do for us, me, your dad, okay, and then also what the Lord will do to whoever you're in the battle with.
Yep.
Okay.
Verse 9, for evildoers will be cut off. Yet for a little while, the wicked man, he will be cut off, and you'll look carefully for his place, but he will not be there, because the Lord has removed them so far away from you.
So here's the deal. Like, have you ever, and you'll do this, like, as you're growing up, there were different people in my life, like in school, that, I mean, straight up just warfare, like, personalities did not like each other, spirits did not like each other, and, high school, middle school, whatever, elementary, and it just was this, like, they were just never y'all were not going to ever fit. Like, there's not going to be a friendship there ever. And then years later, you think about them and you're like, what was their name? And like, for the life of you, cannot remember their name. You see their face, but you're like, it just gets kind of removed. That's sort of what it's talking about, or like whatever battle you were in with that person, them getting removed, there's no evidence, like they leave, they're out of your life. Maybe the Lord moves them away. Maybe he takes them out of the job, whatever. There's nothing left of them because they really probably had not invested in things or people or anything. So when they're gone, like they're easy to forget because they were really just there for themselves anyway, right?
Yep.
And that's what I find that to all be wonderful.
Verse 17, there it is again. The Lord laughs at them, your enemy, for he sees that their day is coming. Verse 15, their sword will enter their own heart, and their bow will be broken. The weapons that they try to use against you will be broken, or it'll turn on them, and it'll penetrate their own heart. That is mind-blowing to me.
Like Haman in the...
Yeah.
In the...
Yeah, matter of fact, I have him written down right there.
Oh, what are they called? What is the...
the the noose, the
What's the?
galley,
Is that what it's called?
Haman's galley.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's a great visual.
mhm.
They're building it the whole time they're trying to take you down, and you're battling, and then the thing that they spend all their time building to take you down takes them down. I mean, this is the Lord. He is mighty,
He will do it.
and He will do it.
Verse 17.
Verse 5.
For the arms of the wicked will be broken. We talked about that one already. Verse 20. We'll camp on this one for a moment. But the wicked will perish, and the enemies of the Lord will be like the glory of the pastures. And I cannot help to stop and think on this. Some translations say that the enemies will be like the flowers of the field, and all God's glory, boom, right there. Enemies on display. And so we recently, it was during Easter, we heard a sermon, and a guy was talking about Spartacus and how he crucified the prisoners. There were 6,000 crucified prisoners along the highway to Rome. And it also made me think of Vlad the Impaler on his countryside. He took his countrymen and impaled them out there on the hillside for the enemies to see and fear. And it's just like, I don't know, I just have those visions of God putting on display all the enemies that He has taken care of time and time again.
Golly,
And it'll be like,
is...
I'll read it again. But the wicked will perish, and the enemies of the Lord will be like the glory of the pastures. And so God is on display for you in the battle, and He is doing these things. And you can have your own little kind of a memorial to what all God is doing in your life, and these little visuals along the way you can set up for yourself to remind you and to take delight in the Lord of all that He's doing for you. Is so important.
Because it's going to happen again, and then it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And each battle, you're going to learn a new skill. You're going to learn a new scripture, a new mindset, something, and you're going to be strengthened in the Lord if you're seeking Him. But it's still going to end, and there'll be another one. So you might as well suit up and get after it. You know what I mean?
And then He says, "But transgressors will all be destroyed, and not might be destroyed, but they will be destroyed." And Millie Mae, you are going to take this to heart. You're going to take this so seriously. The beautiful thing is, like, if we're not around, you have this video, of course, but then you also have all of these evidences of the Lord bringing us through the battle, and just how valuable and beautiful that these things are. And I will say, with mine, I don't just stop at Psalm 37. Like, when I'm in the battle, I'm going through this sheet every morning, and I'm going through Psalm 35. That's the next one I'll read. Psalm 140, then Psalm 94, and then I finish it up with Psalm 62. And it is like, those are my weapons that I make sure I'm picking up as I head out into the battlefield every day. Got anything else?
Well, I mean, I guess each battle the Lord is going to provide. If you are asking Him to walk with you and to help you, He is going to provide. Just like Psalm 37, Him providing that for us. Like your dad's list of Psalms, I have my own, and He is so specific and so generous in His word, and He is so encouraging if you'll just be with Him. What I don't want you to do, Millie Mae, is to stay so much in your head trying to figure out how you can get out of something or how you can take somebody down. I don't want you to surround yourself with a bunch of friends to get their opinions. I want you to say, Lord, I don't know what I'm doing, and all I have is you. And I want you to learn how to be dependent on Him and His word, so that, like I said, each time the battle comes up, you have your old weapons, you have your old scriptures to remind you of what He did do, because He will do it, because He did it. and to remind you of that, and then to be open and to be aware of his workings of what he's doing now in the battle. He is not, his mercies are new every morning. So every situation, his word applies, and it's always fresh when we seek him. And people cannot people cannot tell you what to do. They can pray for you. They can give you some godly wisdom, but after that, it's you and the Lord, and you have to learn. You have to learn that that is all you need, and that He will supply everything for you.
Yeah, it just came to me. Look, I get more protective of you every single day. It seems like, and this is just one time or one aspect that I can't be your protector, but I can teach you how to trust in the protector and to grow in such confidence in Him, and that is what this is. You know, we talk about, well, if we didn't make this move or that move, we would be back when times were good, and that is such a misconception because coming through these battles, we have come to know the Lord so much more than we ever could have staying in comfort back then. And so we're very thankful and grateful of what He's done, as you will be. And going back to this, trust or commit your way to the Lord, trust also in Him, and He will do it. In that verse 5, it reminded me. Your mom and I had a celebration moment, and it's in Psalm 52:9, and it says, I will give you thanks forever because you have done it. And when the Lord is doing stuff in the battle with us, and we're saying He will do it, we talk it back to Him, we declare it, we stand on that, and then also when it happens, you have done it. Is what we say right there in Psalm 52:9. So a great one to add to your list, because He will bring you through it, and He will be with you while you're in it.
So I'm gonna read one more thing, and this is one of my favorites, and so this will be my prayer over you, Millie Mae. It's Psalms 20, and I like all of it. Okay, but I'm gonna jump down to 4, and it says, so, Millie Mae, may He give you the desires of your heart and make all your plans succeed, and lift up our banners. Oh, excuse me. May we shout for joy over your victory. So this is what we're wanting. This is our response to the Lord. May we shout for joy over your victory and lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all your requests. Now this I know, Millie Mae. The Lord gives victory to His anointed. He answers him from His heavenly sanctuary with the victorious powers of His right hand. I love this, some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. Lord, give victory to the King. Answer us when we call. And He does. If you will trust Him and believe Him, He will bring the victory.
Yep.
So, we love ya.
Battle on.
Battle on.